No spin, no bias, no censorship. I'm Dan Wootton. This is Outspoken episode number 304. And breaking today, a government at war with its own people and a regime media that refuses to report the truth about an English revolution happening up and down our nation. The authorities, though, couldn't handle those peaceful scenes, prompting Tommy Robinson to suggest the police are now deliberately trying to spark violence on behalf of the deep state.
Because they want to build this country up into a violent reaction so they can delegitimise your concerns and your fears.
I just got...
I'm 70 years old!
That's just incredible. They just pepper sprayed us in Canary Wharf.
We was just walking through!
Look up! Look what they're doing! Look what the police are doing!
Yes, that's right. A 70-year-old pink lady pepper sprayed, and the reform leader of the uprising at Epping, Essex, ground zero of this revolution, arrested for hoisting the Union Jack flag on the council building. No wonder Elon Musk posted over the weekend, "People of the great nations of Britain and Ireland, rally now to save your beautiful countries. It's now or never. Fight, fight, fight. Soon it will be too late." Coverage of an extraordinary weekend you will not get from the MSM coming up in my digest next. Then my superstar panel are here. Emma Kenny, the psych therapist and social commentator behind the hit YouTube channel Emma Kenny True Crime. And Joseph Moulton, head of Flag Force UK, the group raising the colours throughout the country. Also coming up on the show today, Elon Musk, Sam's slippery starmer as treasonous and illegitimate as the world wakes up to the horror of life in the disunited kingdom under this authoritarian Labour government. The crazies on the hard left, as JD Vance rightly calls them, continue to push the insane suggestion that flying the Union Jack or St George's flag makes you a far-right racist thug. We'll hit back. And an eyewitness comes forward in the case of the Scottish teenage Braveheart who went viral around the world. Her story does not match the MSM narrative amid claims of misinformation. Then in the uncancelled after show on Substack, Meghan Markle's crashed and burned on Netflix. King Charles has fallen out with Prince William over Harry, and Queen Camilla's sex attack attempt has finally been revealed. We'll have all the royal latest with YouTuber and PR professional Lauren Lunn Farrow. Just before I reveal today's greatest Britain and Union jackass, very brief note to say this is our live subscriber count right now, and I really need you to do me a favour today. Come on. We are so close to 500,000. We are so close to 500,000. It would mean the world to me. In fact, I've said to Jesse, our producer, I'm not coming off air today unless we hit the 500,000 mark because we are so damn close. So if you are watching today and you are not subscribed, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button. It is completely free. And maybe I'm going to give you updates during the show, but maybe like ask your friend, your family, your mum, your worst enemy. Because seriously, oh look, we're going up. Let's take this shot, Jesse. This is beautiful to see. Come on, let's get us there. We are so damn close to 500,000. It would mean the world to me. And as I say, you're just going to have me today until we get to 500k. So I'll keep you posted as the show goes on. Here's your Union Jackass nominees, by the way. You can vote in the YouTube live chat. Angela Rayner, nominated by Bitterboard 46, accused of flipping the designation of her main home to limit her liabilities for stamp duty and council tax. Women of the People, yeah, right. Humza Useless, nominated by Real Metcalf for saying the far right don't want people to know that Britain is indebted to migrants. And Darren Jones, nominated by Drew59 Blue. Rachel from Accounts chief ally in destroying the economy was Darren Jones. Now Starmer is rewarding his failure by appointing him as his chief secretary. This is a completely new position. You really couldn't make this up. So There we go. There are the Union Jackasses. Oh, look at this. We're less than 200 away now. Come on, guys. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Big milestone for us after just a little over a year. But now, let's go. The new English Revolution is happening, but the deep state wants to pummel patriots into renewed silence by arresting mums for proudly unfurling the Union Jack and pepper spraying 70-year-old pink ladies terrified about the safety of their granddaughters. This is life under authoritarian slippery Starmer's regime, where there were extraordinary scenes up and down the country all weekend, awe-inspiring at times, disturbing when the police used overreach. But one thing I can tell you is certain. The MSM don't want you to know about how widespread this revolt is, as these scenes of patriots on the march and raising the colours in West Drayton show. Now, barely a word was mentioned in the regime media, even as the biggest accounts internationally on Elon Musk's X broadcast the images to the world. End Wokeness posted England is finally waking up, prompting Niall Gardner to declare there is a political revolution taking place in the UK today. But Inevitable West added, the legacy media is failing to report on a revolution happening in England. No, I'm not joking. And Peter Sweden went further, reporting over 35 protests this weekend in Britain against open borders, thousands of patriots that want to protect their country. Why isn't this bigger news in the mainstream media? Almost like it's a cover-up. Well, I'm going to go one step further. This is a cover-up. This is a mainstream media cover-up of a new English revolution. Because indeed, if it wasn't for social media, independent reporters and citizen journalists, the government could keep pretending that everything is okay. But we know it's not. And Tommy Robinson believes the government, via its authorities, is now attempting to prompt the British public into violence.
Provoke the British public into violent reactions. There can be no other explanation for what they're doing. What they've done at Epping, I've seen videos this weekend of women being attacked, of young children being pepper sprayed. I'm seeing pure provocation from police forces, which I'd say is totally intentional, because they want to build this country up into a violent reaction so they can delegitimise your concerns and your fears. Right now, we, as a movement, as people, from Epping to Canary Wharf to all over the country to Norwich, up until now, are winning the hearts and minds of the British public, who are sick to death of the betrayal of our country and people. You're winning the hearts and minds. That will turn like that, and they're trying to turn it like that. Do not let them be successful.
If you don't believe him, then it's worth looking at the horrifying scenes from Epping, Essex and Canary Wharf, London from yesterday in more detail. After the High Court decision was overturned by Starmer's government to keep the Bell Hotel open, the Patriots of Essex announced they would continue their campaign of peaceful resistance.
And this smoke on is not going to Thank you, Pete. You think this is safe for people to drive? He calls an
Is this the far right? I don't think so. There's nothing far right against these people. These are just decent people sticking up for their women and their children. Yeah, sorry, officer. There's people in the field behind. I'm guessing there could be 1,000 people here.
Is it working?
Good people too.
Leader of the Epping mums, Sarah White of Reform UK, last night delivered a powerful official statement calling for patriots to stop paying the BBC licence fee and council tax as a new means of protest.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we stand here today as proud English men and women, steadfast trust in our resolve to uphold our constitutional and common law rights as subjects of this great nation, England. These rights, enshrined by our own English Convention Parliament and safeguarded by the English Bill of Rights, include a supremacy clause that no foreign court or convention can override. We assert our fundamental right to protest peacefully, a right woven into the fabric of our history, from the peasants' revolt started in Essex to Peterloo, Manchester. The people of Essex once repelled a Napoleonic invasion. As an English town, we declare that we will not consent to governance that endangers our communities. In response to the misinformation and propaganda disseminated by the British Broadcasting Corporation and others, we refuse to pay the television licence fee. Furthermore, we will not pay council tax. As non-payment of taxes has long been a legitimate form of protest in our land, we call upon English people to join us in this peaceful stand. Raise the colours, fly the St George Cross across England, and the Essex County flag in our proud country. Let us unite in these actions, refuse the licence fee, withhold council tax, and display our flags with pride. This is our message, and we ask you to share it with the nation. Protect our children!
What a patriot, what an incredible woman. But can you believe that within minutes of delivering that very speech, Sarah White had been arrested for flying the Union Jack on the Epping Council building? Watch.
But it looks like the police are trying to cause a scene. Look at that! Look what they're doing! Look what the police are doing! What are they doing? What are the police doing here?
Move down the stairs. It's not safe on these stairs. She's a woman.
What are they doing?
Just for the bottom of the stairs.
Have a look at this.
That prompted Elon Musk to post, "This is crazy." But that was just the beginning, with the police then targeting the other organiser of Epping's peaceful protests. Jack Hadfield reported Callum Barker was arrested right in front of my eyes. He moved ever so slightly towards the police vans after Sarah White was arrested, and then the police grabbed him. He's allegedly being charged with incitement to racial hatred. That's not why he was nicked then. Watch. Reforms Orla Minihane, who will actually be here on Outspoken tomorrow, but you could see her there, revealed the police were hunting her down too.
Sarah's obviously been arrested, apparently for inciting violence by standing with her Union Jack. I just don't understand it. And I can't believe the violence and the aggression that they arrested her with. I've just never seen anything like it. And the irony that we are standing outside a hotel protesting about women and children and violence towards women and children, and our very own police take a 5'3" mother and drag her down the stairs, 4 of them in riot gear. I've never seen anything like it. I'm beyond shocked. And then I heard them say, "Where's the other one?" which obviously meant me, so I just got out of the area. I'm in shock, and she's got kids at home. She's a single mum. I don't even know
Why do you think they just wouldn't stand there with a flag and perhaps block other people coming up to her?
They wanted to arrest someone tonight. They wanted to arrest people. They arrested her and Callum. Callum did nothing. They wanted to arrest someone and make an example of her. I mean, it's like Lucy Connolly all over again, right?
Last night's scenes came after there was further horror on Friday night in Epping, which included a man being dragged by police from his car in front of his sobbing young son.
Whoa!
What are you doing?
What are they doing to him?
What are you doing?
They're trying to drag him out the car.
What are you doing? No, you're getting silly now, bruv.
What on earth are they doing to him? He's trying to go home. He can't move at all here. They're making his son cry as well. I'm not getting that on camera. His son is just in tears.
How are you dragging him out of the car?
What are they doing? Look at his son. There's his son there.
It's a fucking liberty.
What are they doing? What are they doing to him? They've got him up to the van. This is police brutality now. Everyone, if you're watching this, make sure to share this everywhere. Clip all of this and get it out there. Send it to the news media, everything. People need to see what is going on tonight. Get this shared out everywhere you can see. They've just arrested a man who was trying to go home. So now they're arresting people for trying to go home. How is that legal?
Then there was a young boy himself aggressively arrested.
Come to the floor then. Come to the floor, yeah? To the floor now. To the floor. Boys, what are you doing?
Why are you doing that to him? Look how you're grabbing him up, getting him head off.
Now! Get yourself to the floor.
That's lovely.
Whoa. No, easy.
Hey, we do!
Watch his back on the thorns. Wait, no, just move the thorns. Let's move the thorns out of the way, mate. Move the thorn booth. Stand on it, mate.
If he calms down, everything will be...
No, but it's for your officers as well. Your officers as well, mate. That's it.
And there were even clashes between police and independent journalists. And it's really worth thinking about why these locals are so angry. Well, there was a shocking reminder from Tommy Robinson, who revealed it appears by his own social media posts that an illegal immigrant staying at the Bell Hotel in Epping recorded the protest out his window and also has many posts of him with heavy firearms. You can see the shocking footage here. Of course, we don't want these people in our community, but we don't want them in our country at all. And why I think that this was probably a plan by the police, is that they were just as heavy-handed over at Canary Wharf in London, where the Pink Ladies teamed up with male locals, some of whom were masked, and I don't like that, but watch.
Send them home! Send them home! Send them home! Send them home! Joe! Hey! You can show
But this was actually a very positive demonstration, right? With the local Bangladeshi community even teaming up with the Pink Ladies.
Protests organised by local people. But outside agitators are coming here trying to make this into a racist thing. Our point is very clear. If this community was racist, then how is it that myself, second, third generation British Bangladeshi, how could I have thrived and prospered in this community if everyone here was racist? So no, nobody here is racist. It's just how the narrative is being controlled or in fact being orchestrated. There are outside agitators, and I don't want to go into conspiracy theories. Our message is very clear. We are concerned about the safety of our community, the well-being of our community. We're not racist, we're not against immigration, we are against controlled immigration, uncontrolled immigration. The government needs to get a handle on its borders, our borders. It needs to consult local communities before it dumps migrants into our community like we've seen with the Britannia Hotel. So my message to my section of the community is that no, it's completely untrue. These are not racist protests. These ladies, these lads, we've grown up together. We wouldn't be here if they were completely racist. And
okay, so do not believe the mainstream media, okay? Believe Shucks, who was very, very clear that all of these protesters were anything but racist, and they all moved together, including with Lorraine, the 70-year-old leader, into the mall at Canary Wharf, where she gave this powerful speech.
And money talks, okay? Money talks. So we need these guys to help us shut down that hotel, okay? Or otherwise, we will be here every single week.
But within minutes, there were clashes with the police, resulting in members of the public, including Lorraine and independent journalists recording what was happening, being pepper sprayed.
I just got pepper sprayed. Oh my God. Pepper sprayed. These officers here just randomly attacked an individual protesting. And look, this was a demonstration to cause maximum disturbance, and they had achieved that. But the police response of being violent is just here to antagonise us.
Yeah, indeed. Because how else can you explain 17-year-old young Bob being pepper sprayed and 70-year-old Lorraine being pepper sprayed? Watch.
Yeah.
I'm 70 years old!
That's just incredible. They just pepper sprayed us in Canary Wharf.
We was just walking through!
I saw the police officer get it out. This is incredible. Everyone's choking. There's been another journalist as well. Another journalist goes here just...
Yeah, you should watch that and be horrified and actually believe that this was a plan. Because let me tell you, the police had absolutely no issue. The same police at Canary Wharf had absolutely no issue with the hard left Antifa mob calling for the death of their enemies just down the road outside the Britannia Hotel.
This Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
Connolly was arrested for inciting racial hatred, and the protest friends behind me are literally saying that fascists should throw themselves in rivers, referring to the protests at the Britannia Hotel. So they're calling for the suicide of counter-protesters, and they don't get arrested.
Very good point. Now, I also believe that the police were told to pepper spray patriots this weekend because they were so keen to use the pepper spray during a protest in Portsmouth, they ended up pepper spraying each other. Watch.
He's spraying everyone in the crowd. Oh, shit. Oh, he's got her. Oh, taste your own medicine. Oh.
Yeah, so the police, desperate to pepper spray patriots, end up pepper spraying other police officers. By the way, there were good patriots in Portsmouth who also managed to drive away the British bashing corporation.
You see here? British Brainwash Corporation. No, don't.
BBC, not welcome here.
You're not welcome here. Not welcome here. BBC, 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 not welcome here. BBC's not welcome here. BBC's not welcome here. BBC's not welcome here. BBC's not welcome here. Go on!
There were also two-tier policing clashes outside the Britannia Hotel in Bournemouth. Watch this with Alan Miller.
Hey, I've seen you about 3/4 of this event. Obviously, some people are quite annoyed, so they're making their voices heard. That's all right. The reason we're getting annoyed is because they keep videoing our side and they're not videoing their side. And I thought the police were supposed to stay impartial, but they're clearly not staying impartial. I've made constant complaints against the police for not doing this easily, but once again, they're videoing our side. So I thought the police were supposed to stay impartial, but to me, when they're videoing us for 3/4 of the event, that's not impartial policing, if you ask me. You know, I'm no genius, don't get me wrong, but that's not correct. They should be doing this right.
It sounds right. We didn't see them filming anyone with a counter protest.
Why don't you film Antifa down there?
Yeah.
Why are you filming us all?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's two-tier policing up and down the United Kingdom, including in Swindon, where I have to give credit to Reforms councillor Augustus Urquhart Nicholas, who confronted a police officer directly about what was happening.
Yeah. Ask, is there a reason why you've been told to all line up against this side rather than against this side?
People lined up upstairs.
But you're really close and you've got a lot more people right up against that line. Okay.
This is our working space.
Yeah, that's fair enough. No, that's fine. I just, you know, you can see why people might think that it's an example of two-tier policing clashes.
I have no comment to make other than the fact that you can see we mirror image both sides.
Well, you might have no comment to make, but we can all see it. We can all see it with our own eyes. And thank God for the independent journalists who are bringing these beautiful scenes to our eyes. And I really do need to express how this peaceful local action really did take place truly up and down the country. I mean, huge amount of patriots in Dartford, for example. There were patriots targeting the Marriott Hotel in Cheshunt.
About outside the Marriott Hotel in Cheshunt, and a small group of the Patriot protesters have gone out into the roundabout, and the police are obviously trying to usher them out. Things are getting a little bit hairy. I'll keep you guys posted. The small group of protesters that broke off seem to be heading towards the motorway. The police are obviously not going to let this happen, so...
You are walking onto.
Yeah, so police are obviously going to try and stop this from happening as soon as possible. It is far too dangerous. Oh shit.
Go on, Emma. Let your cardio.
okay guys, I'm not going to follow simply because that's just too dangerous.
And then there was the UKIP leader, Nick Tenconi, arriving at the Copthorne Hotel in Gatwick.
Refugees not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees not welcome here. Communist scum off our streets. Communist scum off our streets. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home.
Kelly J. Keane also raised the issue at Speaker's Corner.
I fully support the protest against the migrant hotels, and I think we need to take issue very, very quickly on behalf of the dignity and safety of women and say no more migration without background checks.
And I have to say, the scenes in Skegness were particularly extraordinary, with Bernie Spoffworth recording, "This is Skegness, once a tourist town, but now the hotels are full of illegal migrants. No money for local businesses, rising intimidation, and locals at breaking point. The government says the illegal migrants' rights are more important than theirs." Tommy Robinson added, "Huge numbers on the streets of Skegness today. Skeggy has always been a favourite seaside town for holidaying Brits, yet in recent years, because of its many hotels, has become a dumping ground for unvetted migrant men. The people have had enough." And perhaps I thought it was best left to a grandma from Braintree to explain why patriots feel so damn passionate.
No, 4 of them, sorry, were standing here staring at my little granddaughter. They then started walking towards her, so I had to run and go and pick her up. Sorry.
Don't apologise. Listen, you take your time. Don't worry. You're in a safe place. We're all here supporting you. We're listening to you. We believe you. It's okay.
And also, I was in a shop one day with my daughter who got abused when she was younger, and one of them was standing so close behind her, she could feel his man bits in her back, and she cried and wanted to get out that shop.
Yet the MSM, what I just find so disgraceful is they choose to ignore the stories that those brave women have to tell, those incredible scenes up and down the country, to focus on lefty losers like this.
They've been chanting at you. If not in the hotels, would you take them in?
Well, in my house? Well, I wouldn't fit 60 people in my house, would I? So I think a hotel is a perfectly fine place for now. The issue is, the asylum seekers that are living in this house have come from the most, if you look at the top 10 most dangerous countries in the world right now, a lot of the men that are living in this hotel are from those countries. Their dads, their uncles, their older siblings. They've made a really dangerous, difficult journey to try and get sanctuary for them and their families. So it's really important they have somewhere to go, and that's completely within our international laws. And if it ever happened to us, I'd hope another country would welcome me in. But they're stuck in a hotel and they don't really want to be. They would absolutely love for the Home Office to speed things up, approve their illegal refugee status, so they can set up a life here. They can get a house, they can get a job, they can start paying their tax and contributing to our society. And that's great, because we've got lots of diversity in this area and we can take more. It's ridiculous what people are saying, it's not true. And that's why we feel so passionately and why we've come out today, to show that these views are not welcome here, but the asylum seekers are.
LBC, meanwhile, decided to nitpick over the definition of asylum seeker.
They are not asylum seekers.
They are seeking asylum, so therefore they are asylum seekers.
An asylum seeker is somebody that goes from a dangerous country to a safe country. The countries that border Britain are not.
Come on.
They overnight in France, which is a safe country. I'm not having...
Are they seeking asylum?
This is part of the problem.
Hold on. Are they seeking asylum?
They are entering the country illegally.
And what do they do when they come here?
Economic migrants.
What do they do? 2/3 of the people that come on boats are found to have valid claims for asylum, so that's important to say as well. All I'm saying is somebody
They're not valid, I'm sorry.
I mean, the Home Office decides they're valid. You can say
I don't trust the Home Office
that's fine,
at all.
But according to the official process and the official tribunals and the rulings, 2/3 of people who come here on small boats are found to be valid refugees.
But in the real world, they've gone from a dangerous country to a safe country and then another safe country, and overnighting in safe countries and coming to Britain as economic migrants, because they're safe. They're in a place of safety when they leave the dangerous country into a safe one.
If you come here and you claim asylum, I think it's very valid to describe you as an asylum seeker.
Not if you've entered the country illegally on a small boat. You're an illegal migrant.
International law doesn't specify that you can't claim asylum.
We could debate this all day. But they are, in my view, they are, and the view of most of the British people, they are illegal migrants. They are not asylum seekers. And this is a sad thing, because there are people that genuinely do claim asylum, and they come to Britain for a reason. Genuine asylum seekers, and I'm afraid I do not buy the argument that those unvetted men in those hotels that have entered the country illegally are
the reason they're
those people.
unvetted is obviously because we're taking so long to vet their applications.
They're
That's why they're
unvetted
unvetted
because we don't know who they are. They throw their documentation in the channel.
No, they come here and they apply, and then we take 2 years to process their applications. That's why they're unvetted.
Irrelevant of how long it could take 2 weeks.
It's not, because if
we don't
it
know
was,
who they are, because they make it up on the spot in many cases.
If it was processed in 2 weeks, they wouldn't be unvetted, would they? They would have been vetted quickly.
How can you vet somebody when you don't know who they are?
Because they have to provide all sorts of evidence and documentation.
But they don't, because they throw it in the channel.
And the ones that throw it in the channel, if they can't prove who they are, won't have an asylum claim upheld.
And by the way, thank you so much, because we are now one away from 500,000, which is just extraordinary. There we are. There we are. Thank you so much. Sorry, just had to interrupt one moment. You've been amazing. You've been absolutely amazing. But back to it, Sly News. Can you believe this? Whaled out the Archbishop of York to slam Reform UK.
Well, I'd say to them, you haven't solved a problem. You've put it somewhere else, and you've done nothing to address the issue of what brings people to this country. And so, if you think that's the answer, you will discover in due course that all you have done is made the problem worse. So don't misunderstand me. I have every sympathy with those who find this difficult, every sympathy, as I do with those living in poverty. But I don't think we should, we should actively resist the kind of isolationist, short-term, knee-jerk, send them, in this case, send them home.
Let's put a name on it. Is that your message to Mr Farage?
Well, it is. I mean, Mr Farage is saying the things he's saying, but he is not offering any long-term solution to the big issues which are convulsing our world, which lead to this. I see no other way.
Perhaps the most sense, though, was spoken by the cancelled but brilliant comedian Jim Davidson, a true patriot.
Why is it that our Prime Minister hates our fucking country so much? So now, people that live in Epping have gone to court and they said, we don't want these fucking illegal, they're not asylum seekers, they're fucking illegal migrants coming in. These cowardly fucking awful, where's their wives and children and their grandmothers? Left them there to fight, yeah? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, really so fucking rehearsal. Total fucking Epping, shut up! Yeah, and so now they've gone to court and said that's bollocks. We don't care about what the people from Epping say. Now there's a big protest on the 13th of September. About taking our country back. And I wonder what's going to happen. What do you think's going to happen? We've got all them policemen will be putting in their brand new rainbow laces, won't they? Switching on their new police sirens.
And now, the superstar panel. Back with us, the brilliant Emma Kenny, psych therapist, social commentator. She is behind the hit YouTube channel Emma Kenny True Crime. And joining us for the first time, Joseph Moulton, head of Flag Force UK, the group which is raising the colours throughout the country. And Emma, I'm so sorry that it has taken this long to come to you, but I was so passionate with just really laying out what has actually been going on up and down this country over the weekend. Because honestly, if you're switched on the mainstream media today, including GB News and Talk TV, you would just have no idea that there is a revolution happening on our streets.
I just think it's terrifying that we have some kind of patriotism dysphoria in the UK where anybody who wants to be positive about the country, and this is from all ethnicities, all belief systems, are somehow tarred with this brush that it's far-right extremism and also It's about the constant failure of the government to listen to the people. The reality is that the people are saying, we're really unhappy, we don't feel heard, we're scared about our communities, and they are just totally blanking them. And what do you expect apart from, at that point, the gravity and volume to increase and increase and increase until finally they have to be heard? And I think what you were saying was very true earlier on, that there's almost this climate of desire to cause riots and fights on the streets that make people look terrible, as opposed to seeing what's actually causing those, which is, I genuinely think, the roughhousing of individuals who are just trying to peacefully get their points across.
But Joseph Moulton, as the head of Flag Force UK, you must be disgusted to see Sarah White, the Reform UK leader of what's gone on in Epping, and by the way, they have been so peaceful throughout all of these weeks. The thing that got her arrested, Joseph, was unfurling the Union Jack flag.
Yeah, I think we've seen this sort of sentiment be echoed by the media a lot, and I think it's definitely seeped into the police force and whoever's making the decisions on those ends around, what is being considered incitement. We've had a few cases where local flaggers have wanted to flag certain areas across the country, and they've come to us saying, have you had experience of, flagging areas near mosques, etc., even though they are their local areas, because they're worried about this incitement to hatred. And it's not coming out of a place of that, but I feel like it's really been kind of ingrained into the cultural psyche now that you really need to be careful even where you can fly a national flag. And I think that's kind of indicative of a wider problem.
Elon Musk is now at the heart of this English revolution, because I would argue he is spitting the facts that our gutless politicians refuse to. As a result, he is now being derided or ignored by the regime media, our pathetic, cucked MSM. So I wanted to show you his view on what's happening in the United Kingdom, because it matters. This is the world's most powerful man, the world's richest man, who over the weekend, after seeing the court case result overturning the Epping Bell Hotel decision, posted on his platform X, people of the great nations of Britain and Ireland, rally now to save your beautiful countries. It's now or never. Fight, fight, fight. Soon it will be too late. And then after watching Bridget Phillipson say this on Sly News, watch.
Your lawyers, under your guidance, have said in terms that the rights of asylum seekers are more important than the rights of local people in Epping Forest. Would you at least acknowledge that that is what they will hear? And it's up to you. Ministers can say, we agree with that, or we don't agree with it. You can't simply say, let's balance things. Do you agree with what your lawyers said, or don't you?
Yes, of course we do.
Of course we do. And Elon Musk, in response, posted, a government that puts foreigners above their own people is by definition treasonous and illegitimate. The people of Britain deserve a government that represents their interests, not those of shadowy foreign organisations. Then there was a direct call for help from the people of Epping to Elon Musk. Watch.
Help us out! Elon, help us out! Save the fucking soldiers out! Elon, help us out! Save the fucking soldiers out! Elon, help us out! Save the fucking soldiers out!
And he did, because there was more. Alice Smith posted, any government that attacks free speech has something big and terrible to hide. Musk replies, absolutely. Brighton official talks about the Raise the Colours campaign, and he replies, save Britain. Deport foreign criminals. Talks about the gang rape statistics. Musk replies, rage. Ben Habib criticises Keir Starmer. Musk replies, a nation with a government against its people shall perish from the earth. Carl Benjamin is patriotic, and Elon Musk replies, it's now or never. Tommy Robinson speaks about the illegal immigrant in Epping that caused all of this, and Musk replied, intolerable, shame on those judges. Sharon Davies tweeted, "You cannot have a British government saying illegal foreign immigrants are the first legal priority over tax-paying British people. This is an insane position to hold and expect the support of your people. As a government, you are now officially working against the electorate." To which Musk replied, "The government is committing treason against the people." James Melville spoke of a boutique hotel owner in Cambridge being offered £3 million to house migrants. Musk writes, "The government in Britain is bribing hotel owners with multi-millions of pounds for 7-year contracts to house illegal migrants. Their goal is obviously to amplify and extend the illegal migrant tidal wave, not reduce it. Anyone saying otherwise is a liar. Thankfully, this good man rejected the bribe." He also posted on seeing the arrest in Essex last night, "to tear care." He quoted Liz Truss, writing, "If the current British government is not on the side of the people of Britain, then they are by definition traitors." When Ian Miles Chong bigged up X, he said, "Time to wake up to the horrific reality." And he also added, "The nightmare happening to Epping and hundreds of towns in Britain and Ireland will come to your town too, unless it is stopped by the people. Every village in Britain will become Epping, unless the people of Britain take action." And when GB Politics posted that Tommy Robinson has said 1 million people will attend his free speech rally on September the 13th, he wrote, "At least," before a clarion call, and he got, unquestionably political, writing, "Join Advance, Ben Habib's party, to save Britain." So Emma Kenny, Elon Musk took about 6 months off when he was dealing with Trump and Doge and all of that. But it's almost like his single-minded political focus now is on saving the United Kingdom. I would argue that over the weekend he became Slippery Starmer's worst nightmare, which is why there are now serious discussions suggesting that Starmer might even try and find a way to ban X.
Well, it really would not surprise me if he tried to do something like that. I mean, I don't think we've ever felt in such an authoritarian situation in the UK. With respect, I think that what Musk is doing is coming out and saying democracy is not being upheld in the UK. And that is something that is quite terrifying. And the problem is, if people don't take action, if people don't resist in a peaceful way, then the consequences of that are the country will change forever. And I think that people are waking up to that reality now. And it's not just the things that are going on with the illegal asylum that's being played as legal. It's to do with the whole host of authoritarian measures that have been taking place in the Labour government. It's about making people feel like they're being treated like children. It's about making the economy feel like it's going to get crashed. It's about making people feel that they're never going to be able to get one up on the ladder in life because any achievement is seen as something negative. All of that culminates in this negativity that drowns out the sense of joy in our world and our lives. And Musk is saying, if you want this to continue on that trajectory where waking up in the morning feels exhausting, where your children don't have a future that you want for them, then you need to do something, because unforgiving is the nature of this government and consistent is their actions against the people. And therefore the consequence will be more of what this is. Is that what we want? And the reality is that the average human, I mean the average human in the UK, and those who legally come over wanting a better life, they want the same as everybody on those streets protesting, which is equal, fair treatment and not an authoritarian state.
100%. And Joseph Moulton, when you think about Musk, he has been uncompromising. I mean, he's been uncompromising, for example, when it comes to raise the colours, challenging Nigel Farage. No, it's not good enough just posting the Union Jack. Why have you not posted the St. George's flag? It's like he almost has this sense of patriotism inside of him. Do you view him as a really important ally in your fight?
Yeah, and I think really what it does massively is it empowers people to get more involved, particularly on the more organizational side. We know that most of our ranks are made up of people who are self-employed, and that's no coincidence. It's because they're worried about the ramifications of work and social life. And I think by people like Elon Musk, who's obviously owns lots of businesses, seen as a sort of a peak entrepreneur in the professional world, I think it will embolden that class of people in the UK who have been vocally supportive, but very from an anonymous sense rather than coming out on the streets with us. So I hope it'll begin to kind of push the Overton window in a professional class in the UK.
But Emma Kenny, that is a terrible thing that Joseph has just raised. And I just wonder if you can look at this from a psychological point of view for one moment. What are people meant to do if they are proud of their country, believe in this movement, but at the same time, they work for a corporate which is totally woke, like most of them are, and they feel like their livelihood, like their job could be on the line if they express their patriotism. How are you meant to deal with that?
It's a really challenging balance to strike because understandably you think about your family and the economy and all the things that are going to be in your favour if you stay silent. Equally, what we know is terrible, terrible things happen if we don't speak our truth and speak out honestly about the reality of what's playing out. The truth is, it takes 3% of a population to peacefully protest, to literally change the way things are. We have that proven time and time again. So if you are willing to join, you instantly make that whole cause far stronger. And more importantly, you speak for your fellow individual, your fellow woman, your fellow man, your fellow person in the society who wants a good life for their children and their future. And what you're doing by staying silent is psychologically, it might make you feel safe in that moment. But in the end, you're a prisoner of fear. And if you're a prisoner of fear for the rest of your days, for the rest of your life, you will realize that the thing about true fear is it's prompting you to find courage. If you find courage, you also find freedom. And that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean there won't be bumps in the road. It won't mean that there'll be challenges and that you might not lose. But in the end, if that losing means that you win, not just for yourself in the future, but for the rest of the generations that are before you and ahead of you, then that essentially means it was worth doing.
Yes.
And I know it's challenging, it's scary. You and me did it during COVID, Dan. Yes, it was scary. Yes, it cost us. Was it worth it? 100%.
Yeah, we lost everything. I mean, we literally lost everything. We lost, well, professionally speaking, not personally speaking, although we did lose a hell of a lot of friends and, you know, and it is worth it. It is always worth it. I know it is hard, but you have to remember there's nothing controversial about what you're doing. You know,
exactly that. Exactly that. What you're saying is so true. There's nothing controversial about speaking your truth, about doing the right thing, about wanting what's best for your country and for your neighbours. That's the reality. The irony is people aren't fighting against anything controversial at all. As you've said, you're fighting for your society to be the society that is safe, that has an economy that works, and that makes you feel that you can speak your truth and be challenged on that at times without fear. And at the moment, we don't have that. It's becoming scarier to just exist in the UK, and we have to change that.
The lefties, can you believe it, are losing it over a flag, over the Union Jack, over the St. George's Cross. I mean, it's to quite nutty proportions now, or as JD Vance describes it, crazy proportions. Look at this. Lefty York MP Rachel Maskell, she's one of the worst, demanding the local Labour council start taking down England flags because they, quote, threaten the breakdown of society. And then you have women like this, liberal left-wing women like this, who I think are being totally vulgar about people who are simply patriots because they have no idea about what it's really like out in tough parts of the country. Watch.
I am so tired of seeing England flags everywhere now. It's not patriotism, it is racism. Pure racism, hijacked by bottom feeders like Tommy Robinson and the clowns parading around with those flags. You're not patriots, you're jumped up thugs. Thick, useless pigs who grew up eating chicken nuggets for dinner every night, panda pops for breakfast, and now think a flag makes you some kind of warrior. It doesn't. You are embarrassing. You are nothing but brain-dead hooligans fueling hate because you've got nothing better going for you. And while you're busy chanting and pretending that you stand for England, children, actual children, are being zipped into body bags in Palestine. Parents are holding their dead babies. That's a reality, and I'm sick of it. Sick to my stomach, sick of watching kids being slaughtered while pathetic, flag-waving thugs strut around pretending they matter. You don't, you are filth. And honestly, if you have paid £28 to be taught how to be racist, you need to seriously reconsider what brain cells you have left.
Oh, I'm going to get started on her in a moment. But it wasn't just her. John McTernan, the ex-Tony Blair advisor, said something quite similar on Newsnight.
Flag.
Well, when I see it used at the moment across the country, it's being used to other people. It's being used to racialise political discourse, and I'm deeply uncomfortable with that. Where people are trying to divide the country using the George's Cross.
The stated aim, though, of a lot of these groups is patriotism. It's national pride. It's not bigotry.
It's clearly not national pride. It's clearly a form of othering, saying that this flag represents something that other people don't belong to. It's done, it disturbs people. I can understand why it disturbs people.
Oh my God, my blood pressure, my rage. It's about to bubble over. But then I think, thank God, actually, there are sane people like this mixed race bloke.
Oh, why am I seeing bare people kicking off about English flags being in England? I fully don't get it. Like, where else in the world should these English flags be, if not England? The worst thing is, it's a lot of English people that are complaining about the flags. They're fully seeing their own country flags, and instead of being proud of where they're from and their country, they're actually getting triggered by their own country flag. It makes no sense. Everywhere in the world, people are allowed to be proud of where they're from. I've been to so many different countries, and every country is allowed to have their flag up and be proud of where they're from. England's the only country in the world that if you're proud to be English, you're automatically racist.
So true. So true. And I also thought this protest organiser in Braintree yesterday, draped in the Union Jack, made a very good point on this too.
It's a massive reason for why I'm here. I've got 2 children. They are boys. I want them to be able to realise that in this life they need to stand up for what's important to them. They need to defend their country. I also, as a woman, feel that women and young girls are at risk, and it's really important that us women use our voices. In this country, women do have free speech, and they should be using it. They shouldn't be fearful of being tarred with a brush of racism, or that they're over-exaggerating, because ultimately women understand that threat from another male. They know that it is to be frightened, and they should be listened to.
And perhaps JD Vance put it best when asked about this on Fox News.
Have you seen the story out of England where the English flag has simultaneously become controversial and patriotic? Some in that country see it as a sign of protest, others see it as a sign of patriotism. And it's a little reflected in what's happening here in America.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, again, so much of what happens in Europe happens in America and vice versa. Sometimes we're on the leading edge of a trend, sometimes they're on the leading edge of a trend. But I remember back in the crazy BLM summer of 2020, I had a buddy of mine say, I was going to put the American flag out today, but I'm worried that some BLM person is going to ransack my house or come and vandalize it in some way because they see the American flag somehow as this controversial symbol. It's not a controversial symbol. Nothing should be less controversial than the American flag. It's the one thing that, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should unite us all together. We should all love our country, be proud of our country. So again, some of these trends where you have Americans worried about flying the American flag because they think their house is going to get vandalized. First of all, that's crazy. Second of all, you see the same things happening in Europe, and I think we just have to be on guard against this stuff. It's okay to be proud of your country. It's in fact a good thing to be proud of your country, and we should push back against the crazies who say we should be so ashamed of our culture and of our heritage that we shouldn't be willing to fly a flag. It's craziness. We got to call that craziness out. I'd encourage our European friends to follow.
Yes, JD, and alongside Emma Kenny on the Superstar panel today is the man who is behind Flag Force UK, this campaign to raise the colours. And Joseph Moulton, I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond to that mad woman, clearly a crazy, right at the start, because, I've got to know you a little bit. To me, you don't appear like a jumped up thug. You don't appear like a brain dead hooligan. You don't appear like filth. I presume you didn't eat chicken nuggets and paddle pops today, although if you did, by the way, I'd be very jealous. But what did you make of her absolute degradation of the people behind your campaign as racist thugs?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a trend I've seen in UK politics for years now. You just want to dismiss anyone who expresses any sort of view, which perhaps might be patriotic or one which challenges the status quo, to be someone who's a far-right thug or some sort of gammon. Which actually is, it's a slur against the working class, against, there's a lot of people who are very angry in the UK and aren't necessarily able to articulate themselves in the best way. And, that people can sort of rage bait them and get these clips. And then they want to tar everyone with the same brush. And what this kind of campaign has really done, we're out during broad daylight putting up flags. We don't put up any flags at night. We're there for people to come and speak to us. We invite our detractors to speak to us too, and sort of have that time really see what we're about. And we've had some really good conversations. And it's subverted a lot of expectations that people have had. But alas, they don't want to have a proper debate. We do have people come up who've I've been nice as pie with them, and they've just been kind of like physically shaking, screaming, "I hate you," all sorts of obscenities.
You're
And
kidding me.
yeah, like really, really sort of bizarre. I've said to everyone, there's going to be people who, it really is a minority. I said I've probably only had about 15 people actually come up and have a go really in York, which is actually a Labour constituency in both inner and outer. So, there's clearly been a political shift. There's been a massive mind shift across the nation. But the people who do come up and sort of are the detractors, they're not interested in any sort of dialogue. They just kind of hurl slurs at us. We've maybe only had a couple of people who've actually been willing to have a dialogue, and we have actually changed some minds. So there is a bit of a divide in society, and I think that through kind of raising the flag and being out on the streets and being seen and being heard, we're sort of rebuilding those community ties, but also kind of creating that dialogue which hasn't been there. We obviously kind of have our own sort of echo chambers as well, and we can be guilty of it too. I don't think it's entirely just on one side, but this is a real opportunity to be in the street, speak to your neighbours, and really sort of understand where they're coming from if they perhaps don't understand your position, and so actually have constructive conversations about the future of the country.
But Emma Kenny, where does that hatred on the left come from? I mean, that woman in the first video, right? To me, she looked like a privileged middle-class woman who probably, I mean, that is me making an assumption, but she probably doesn't have that much of an idea about how difficult it is for a lot of people. But like, she is presumably, Emma, one of those people on the be kind left who sees absolutely no irony or no hypocrisy in just throwing out insult after insult after insult to people who are literally wanting to raise the flag. Where does that come from on the left?
I mean, it was pretty stunning listening to what she was saying, because she was going on about the fact that, nobody in the UK has got any compassion whatsoever because they're eating chicken nuggets and they're actually caring about what's going on in their neighbourhoods to young women who might be being affected in those neighbourhoods, and that unless you care about Palestine right now and children dying there, you're a bottom feeder who doesn't deserve being listened to in any way, shape or form. Also, where was she in all the other conflicts where horrific things have been going on in death camps around the world? Was she talking about Muslims who are in camps in China, for example? No, she wasn't, because actually she's doing something that's populist at the moment, as opposed to thinking about what's really going on. How dare she respond in that way about individuals who may not have had the education, may not have been given the privilege of her nice car and her nice sunglasses because they weren't born in situations like that. She just absolutely throws out everybody in this way, being stereotypical, highly abusive towards a class that she probably has never associated with, without understanding that the motivations aren't coming from hatred. They're coming from fear. They're coming from an understanding that our society is changing drastically and in a scary way in lots of ways, shapes and forms. And actually, she has no care or compassion about anybody who doesn't fit her mindset. Well, that isn't how you reach people. It's not how you connect with people. It's not how you change people's minds. It's not how you create empathy. If you want true connection, if you want true compassion, you know where it starts? In your own mindset, in your own heart, sweetheart. And she clearly is lacking on every single level and doesn't see the irony. And you know what? The biggest irony here is she's assuming that everybody on the streets is right-wing, far right. Well, that's not true on any level at all. In fact, if you saw in the videos, you see people coming from every different culture, every different ethnicity, and every different belief system. But now you have a common feature. The common feature is you want the UK to feel safe, you want to feel your taxes being spent appropriately, and you want to believe that somewhere in all of this, we'll find a solution where we can harmonise and live together. And part of that is going to be taking on a value system that we can all share.
Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, just to show you, Joseph, how terrible some of these actors are, very bad actors. I mean, this is your Flag Force UK organisation on X, which I obviously recommend everyone follow. But you've posted the littering left tore down national flags in the dead of night as they're too ashamed to be seen. They left only a burnt-out mess in Tang Hall Estate, not just anti-patriotic, but anti-environmental and causing a public hazard too. They have no moral authority. So there is now on the left in the United Kingdom, people actively now doing the opposite of raising the colours, literally burning the colours.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's been interesting, so from the footage we've seen, and we've managed to get a lot of CCTV footage, I've seen the cars that these people are coming in. Generally 25 plate, 24 plate cars. They're clearly from the upper middle class. They're from the sort of dungaree and lanyard class, likely university lecturers, if I'm going to look
always.
Kind of attractive on Facebook. York's in an interesting spot right now where most of the students haven't come back yet. It'll be interesting to see what the response there is. But I've spoke to a fair few sympathetic lecturers too. And, I think it's actually more that kind of boomer generation, Gen X, rather than the younger generation who would kind of be going out and skulking around at night and taking them down.
Well, look, I think it is an absolutely amazing campaign. Thank you so much for launching it. Personally, I think it is patriotic, and what has happened with Raising the Colours, I think not only is allowing us to tap into our need to have pride in the St. George's flag and Union Jack, but it's also exposing the underbelly of hate in our country amongst the left, because no one should be threatened or afraid of the Union Jack or the St. George's flag. Breaking today, a witness has emerged from the events in Scotland surrounding the young Braveheart girl who went viral for defending herself against an immigrant before the mainstream media decided to try and tell us all that she was the problem, that the 14-year-old who had to carry weapons on the streets of Dundee was the real problem. And interestingly, this witness, you won't be surprised to learn, goes against the mainstream narrative. So you'll remember this young girl went viral across the United States after this video was posted on Elon Musk's X.
Yes, you have a knife.
You don't. Hey, I'm fucking 12 me. You're fucking bad and
Why are you fucking with us?
You're fucking kid bashers.
Show the knife. Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get away from us.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch it.
That's it. That's it. Show the knife.
Don't touch my little sister.
Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister. She ain't fucking 12. Wait till I fucking catch you, mate. She's fucking 12 and you just battered me, mate. Wait till I fucking catch you, mate.
Yeah, show the knife. Maracha.
Don't touch her. You're to me. Don't touch her.
But the mainstream media in this country said, no. That young girl was the bad one. She was charged by the police. The police then said there was loads of misinformation going around. And so basically, if you were in the United Kingdom, the message was, shut up. Well, Hannah's World refused to do that. She told the story this way.
A 14-year-old Scottish girl stepped in to protect her younger sister from a group of grown men. You know the kind. Locals heard it, the video shows it, you can hear the accent, you can see what's happening. And what did the police do? Did they question the men? Did they protect the girls? No, of course not. They arrested her, a child, for carrying something to defend herself. And now the media's spinning it like it's just another knife crime statistic. They've scrubbed the context, they've scrubbed the men's identity, they've scrubbed the truth.
Of course they scrubbed the truth. With the mainstream media even misrepresenting the migrant in question. So look at this. Darren McGarvey posted the truth about the migrant who a Dundee schoolgirl brandished a knife at. But actually, Richard, the Red Wall pleb, pointed out that the Daily Mail pulled this picture with his wife from Fatos Ali Damana's Instagram account, but they intentionally left out other posts from his Instagram account, which included, as Jonathan Wong pointed out, the fact that he has a gun tattooed to his back. Now, while that might not prove anything, what about this witness account from one of the friends of the two girls who has decided to speak out over the weekend after reading all of these complete lies in the mainstream media? Listen to her account.
Get rid of me whilst I do a story time on what actually took place on Saturday night as a witness, because I was there during the whole thing. I was the one who made the 999 call to make the police show up, so I feel like I should get my story out. Basically, me and my friend Ruby, who was one of the girls in the video, we had just been swimming. And when we got back to swimming, we went to my house, we dropped our stuff off, and then Ruby's sister Lola phoned us and was like, oh, do you want to meet? I'm meeting with our other friends, we're going to go out. And we were like, sure, let's meet. So we met with Lola and 2 other girls, and we were walking to go to one of the girls' houses because she had some stuff that she had to drop off. And whilst we were walking through Lochie. As we were walking through Lochie, we walked past the man that you see recording us in the video. We just were walking past him, and as we walked past him, he made some remarks to Lola, saying, oh, you're so thick. And we were like, oh, that's not okay. So obviously Lola's sister was not happy, because Lola's 12. So yeah, like I was saying, Ruby was like, oh, go away, she's 12. And the man then again said, oh, she's so... So we were like, we did shout at him.
And most critically, she responded to claims that anything from the Scottish young Bravehearts was connected to race.
This was nothing to do with his race. We didn't even know that he was from Bulgaria. So this could not have been a racial attack. This was self-defense, in my eyes.
To my superstar panel, Joseph Moulton and Emma Kenny. Emma, this story has disturbed me on so many levels because I think it shows, number one, how complicit the mainstream media now is with the authorities. You know, the Scottish police said, oh no, you can't talk about this, it's misinformation. John Swinney decided to attack Elon Musk for allowing the video to be broadcast in the first place, and everyone has just gone along with it. Then the Daily Mail come out with this article trying to paint this Bulgarian immigrant as if he is all sweetness and light, which doesn't particularly seem to be the case, because usually the Daily Mail hates anyone with a tattoo, let alone a tattoo of a gun on the back of his bloody neck. And I've watched this full account from the witness. It's much, much longer on her TikTok. It runs to about 18 minutes. And I absolutely believe what she's saying. By the way, she does not excuse the fact that this young woman, this young Braveheart, was holding a weapon. But Emma Kenny, I ask you, why does a 12-year-old girl in Dundee feel they need to leave the house armed at all? Surely that is the bigger question here, rather than trying to demonize these 2 young ladies.
I mean, I think the thing about the law is, you know, and I know, Dan, that you can't arm yourself with a knife or an axe, whether you feel that you should or shouldn't do. The reality is that is something that can lead to criminal charges, and it's also something that can lead to serious injuries. And I think you always have to be clear about that, even though the context of this is that there's a young girl who believes that she's doing what's right because she wants to protect her sister. You have to accept whether it's an acceptable thing to do. And I would say, because I run a crime channel, that it's unacceptable to do that. I think what you're talking about more is what lies beneath. So what's going on in our society now that young women feel so afraid? And like it or otherwise, women are feeling afraid. I talk about this constantly with people. I talk about this with victims. So I am aware acutely that young people are really struggling with feeling safe in their communities. That's the subtext. And what really speaks out is how the press cover it. Because as you know, if you're going to make somebody a villain and somebody an angel, well, maybe make sure that the angel isn't in gangster gear with tattoos of guns on the neck, because really that isn't telling an appropriate story. And it takes anyone with an ounce of inquiry to just go online and look at those pictures to give yourself an impression of how this is being levied publicly. So like I said, we make the child the individual who's the aggressor, and we make the individual who happens to come from a country that, you know, might have some issues, and make them seem like this person with virtue, when clearly that isn't the case. And also, there's something about filming that child who's in a very agitated, scared state, who's actually trying to make it clear that she's unhappy about a message that's been given to her sister, and then to vilify her in public. Again, she's a kid. And I think that we have to afford kids the reality that they make some decisions that aren't necessarily the best for their future life. And that worries me deeply, that she's been vilified in that way.
Yeah, indeed. Joseph Moulton, what was your reaction to the story? Because to me, I just thought how typical that this ended up being a story in the mainstream media slagging off Elon Musk. You know, like the First Minister of Scotland, rather than actually dealing with the fact that, let's be honest, under his rule, under SNP rule, the streets of Scotland have become so unsafe for so many young girls, especially, by the way, in a place like Dundee. Just trust me on that. It became an opportunity to attack Elon Musk, as if we couldn't see that video, then everything's okay. It always just comes down to censorship with them.
Yeah, I think it's sort of the trend, which is kind of, well, whether it's naivety or willful ignorance of, there being these issues in the UK and people getting very angry and upset and actually changing the way that they behave and act in public. I mean, a girl of that age should not be carrying a knife, but clearly there's underlying reasons as to why she is. And I think that we're seeing this along with the protests going on around the country too. They're focusing on, the protests, and they want to kind of put a label on it. It's racist, whatever, far right, whatever they want to call it. But they're not looking at these things aren't just springing out of nowhere. They're not just, people aren't waking up one day and deciding they're going to change their behavior so radically from what actually, we'll go back a few years ago, an idea of a girl of that age carrying a knife in Britain would have been unimaginable. And like, I think that's just how they kind of brush it under the rug. They cause a new controversy. Then it becomes about, Hamza Yusuf and Elon Musk arguing, rather than the fact that actually there is clearly an institutional problem here that's not being addressed.
Emma, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think it's a really good way to deflect what's going on beneath the surface. And I think that there are so many people right now feeling unsure about their communities, and psychologically, that's a terrifying position and place to be in. And with that comes these kind of realities. Like I said, there is absolutely no way she should have grabbed that kitchen knife and grabbed that axe. It makes no sense whatsoever for her own safety. You're taking on a man. Even with those arms, you're not going to come off positively out of that. And we don't want people to do that in communities. But unless we start understanding that people feel silenced, they're not feeling listened to, they're feeling afraid, then we're going to get more provocation in our society. And I think that's obvious from what's happening right now, not just in one community, but all across the UK. And again, it is not just white people, because that seems to be the narrative and rhetoric that's being put out there. White people have a problem in the UK. That's absolute lies. It's BS, and it's unfair, because it means that they're not listening to any community and leveraging this particular belief system, which is a false belief system, to bring in some authoritarian rule that no one wants.
100%. And I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying, Emma. Of course, the American take on this is a little bit different, because they do believe that arming yourself for safety's sake is important. Right. If and even to a lesser extent, if you're a woman in Florida, for example, you can carry around mace, you can carry around pepper spray. And I note that a lot of women in the United Kingdom, and this again, I think should show how terrible things are on the streets, are currently having to carry around deep heat because they're so afraid and they just want to arm themselves with something.
Dan, the police are allowed pepper spray so they can spray 70-year-old women, but don't about women who might actually need it because they've got people aggressing them. Yeah, it's a topsy-turvy world. And America does have that in their constitution, and that's never going to get overturned. Doesn't matter how left people are, that is going to stay there. You are going to have the right to defend yourself. Yeah. The UK doesn't have that same belief system, sadly.
But that is why Marjorie Taylor Greene on this did post, "This brave little girl is the type of refugee I want coming to America. I can't comprehend what type of government won't protect her and refuses to stamp out the mass rapings." And I do just think there is quite a different point of view, an important point of view that we're getting from America at the moment on what's going on in this country. But my God, thank God for both of you. Emma Kenny, who is host of Emma Kenny TV on YouTube. That is Emma Kenny True Crime, 2 episodes weekly. Honestly, I absolutely love them. It's a YouTube sensation and proof, I guess, that there is life after the MSM, right, Emma? We're doing all right. We're doing all right. But please do subscribe. And Joseph Moulton, who is on Outspoken for the first time today. Such a pleasure to have you. A great young patriot who is running the Flag Force UK campaign, which I fully support. Let's raise the colours. Joseph, please come back soon. Thank you both so much. And my goodness, thank you to you. We're going to do Greatest Britain Union Jackass, of course, in just one moment. But look at this. Look at this. It's just a beautiful sight. 500,000 subscribers. You're amazing. You're amazing. Honestly, I knew we'd do it today, but seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of the people sending super chats today. Rebecca Hicks, Samuel, Phoenix, Suprov, who was pushing everyone to get me to 500,000, and Private Jose B32, who says the traitor king needs to step up now and dissolve parliament. I know there is a sign on a bridge saying exactly that. Alison Connolly writes, British woman arrested for flying a British flag in Britain. Good God. Christine R. says refugees are not illegal criminals who have travelled through countless safe countries. These people are not refugees. Ossie says, I can't believe what I'm seeing. In my opinion, we are one step away from civil war. Becca Stephanie Thornquest says, how can a Western country treat their citizens in this evil manner? And Logan R, I loved this Logan R, I'd definitely take you up on the offer, says, I am a US citizen. I have been contacted by a sizable contingency of fellow Americans willing to come to England and stand with you all with the consent of the people, of course. Okay, time to reveal today's Union Jackass. A reminder of your nominees. Angela Rayner, nominated by Bitter Board 46, accused of flipping the designation of her main home. And of course, they say woman of the people. Yeah, right. Humsey Useless, nominated by Real McCass for saying the far right don't want people to know that Britain is indebted to migrants. And Darren Jones, nominated by Drew59Blue. The Rachel from Accounts chief ally in destroying the economy was Darren Jones. Now Starmer is rewarding his failure by appointing him as his chief secretary. This is a completely new cabinet position. You really couldn't make this up. But Darren Jones only got 5% of your vote, actually, in third place. I reckon that's because nobody knows who he is, although he's a very dangerous person, trust me. Humsey Useless, the runner-up with 31% of the vote. But wow, today's Union Jackass, the Deputy Prime Minister with 64% of the vote, Angela Rayner. And during a total softball interview on the British Bashing Corporation earlier, by the way, that's why I didn't play any of it on the show. It was so pathetically softball by that little goblin Labour-loving weirdo Matt Chorley. Starmer was so overwhelmed, he described Angela Rayner as the Prime Minister. And sadly, that's probably going to happen very soon. Today's Greatest Britain, nominated by Darren Donaldson. We saw her in the digest today. Posey Parker. She goes out on the front line week after week with her Let Women Speak events. She also highlights issues within Islam and immigration, otherwise known, of course, as Kelly J. Keane. Today's Greatest Britain. Okay, we're moving over now to the Substack. The Substack, I guess I call it Substack, www.outspoken.live. It is the Substack platform where we host our after show, and we've got all of the royal news. Meghan Markle's crashed and burned on Netflix. King Charles has fallen out with Prince William over Harry, and Queen Camilla's sex attack attempt has finally been revealed. We'll have all the royal latest with YouTuber and PR professional Lauren Lunn Farrow. So at this stage, we come off YouTube and Rumble. We move to our own platform to continue the conversation in the uncancelled after show. I do want to tell you, though, we are also now available as a podcast, an Outspoken podcast. If you just search for Outspoken or Dan Wootton Outspoken, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, we're on video, Apple Podcasts if you want the audio, or wherever you get your podcast feed. It really, really helps in the algorithm and everything, because we're independent and we're fighting against the big guns, right? The big broadcasters, the globals, all of those. And we're doing really well. But what I need is for you to not only subscribe, which is free, by the way, but then also rate and review. If you give us a 5-star review, you give us a rating, it really helps on the podcast algorithm. So please, if you can, it's a little favor from me. Although I'm asking so much today, aren't you? Because look, we're at 500,306 subscribers. This has been a very exciting day. We will be back with you tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time, midday Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. One more call to hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble too. And most importantly, I promise to keep fighting for you.